What's going on YouTube? So as you probably know, compact crossovers have replaced midsize sedans as the go-to family vehicle. And in that class, there are three products that are consistently battling it out for the top of the sales chart: the RAV4, the CR-V, and this Nissan Rogue. It is all new for 2021, and Nissan is hoping that the vast improvements to style, technology, and driving dynamics will propel it to the top of the class. But without further ado, let's go ahead and see if they were successful at that mission. So right as soon as you walk up to this all-new Rogue, you're going to recognize this is an all-new product because it looks very different from the outgoing generation. Part of that is to do with kind of the overall shape up here in the front. Kind of has a boxier, more rugged appearance than the outgoing generation. Now, as far as the grille itself, we have the new interpretation of the V-Motion grille, which, like I said, is a little bit more squared off than before. And in the middle, we have kind of these black rectangles and the chrome around the outside edges. That's across all of the trim levels. And then if you choose the Platinum model, you have an extra chrome accent down here on the bottom. But coming over here to your headlights, this is honestly the biggest departure from the outgoing generation because we have a very unique design. It's basically split into two different pieces. So up here on the top, you have your LED daytime running light, and then you have an incandescent turn signal. Then down here in this separate housing, this is where the actual headlights themselves live. They are full LED, both your low and high beam, and that's across all of the trim levels. Then finally down here at the bottom, this is where you'll find an LED fog light if you choose the SL or the Platinum. Now, nicely setting off the brand new exterior design are brand new wheel options this year, which look a lot more attractive than the options last year. So on your base model, that's going to come with a 17-inch alloy wheel with a nice dark finish. If you go for this SV, that's where you'll get upgraded to these 18-inch alloys. And then if you choose the SL or the Platinum trim level, those are going to come with 19-inch contrast alloys. And then jumping up here to your mirrors. They will be body colored as well as heated if you choose the SV or higher. And then one of the nice features is that Nissan is now including blind spot monitoring as standard across every single trim level. Now, this Nissan Rogue definitely looks a lot different from the outgoing model, and a lot of that has to do with the side styling here, since you are going to have that boxier design than you did in the previous generation, and it actually does look longer than the previous generation, despite being 1.5 inches shorter than that previous model. Now, other things to mention as far as the side styling is concerned is you do have a two-tone roof option, which is the first time that's available on the Nissan Rogue, and that does really kind of spice up the exterior design. Now, the rear design itself is also quite spiced up for this all-new model, since you are going to have a very premium look. As far as the individual design components, we have partially LED taillights. The brake light part is LED, the rest is going to be incandescent though. And then as far as this, we have Rogue spelled out across the back. And then the diffuser area, this model right here just kind of has the black standard design. However, if you go for the Platinum, you will have a silver accent. And it is worth noting that there is going to be no exposed exhaust outlets on any Rogue. Now, like Drew said at the beginning, this compact crossover segment has really been the go-to for families, and Nissan does give you the vast majority of your safety systems standard on all of the models. Now, the only exception to that is going to be adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist, which is going to be included on the SV trims and higher. But anyway, guys, that sums up the really nice exterior design for this all-new Rogue. However, I know they've done a lot of work on the inside, so let's go ahead and check that out before we take it out in a spin. And before we do all of that, hit that subscribe button down below. So like most Nissan products, the all-new Rogue does include their intelligent entry system as well as remote start on all but the very base trim level. And then to get inside the cabin, you're just going to press this button to unlock the door. And taking a first look inside of this cabin, I have to say it makes a strong first impression. Definitely looks very premium, and it basically sets Nissan onto a whole new course with an entirely new interior design language. But let's go ahead and talk about your different interior color and material options on board. So the S and the SV, those are going to come standard with cloth seating and your choice of charcoal or light gray. However, on this specific SV, we have the optional leatherette, which comes in the premium package. Now, if you go up to the SL, that's going to come in real leather, again with your choice of charcoal or light gray. And then the platinum model, that's where things get really fancy. You have quilted semi-aniline leather in charcoal or an exclusive tan color. Now, turning over here to your door trim, it is very nicely finished. We have a leatherette material across the armrest, as well as all through the middle areas with this color contrast stitching detail. The top is going to be soft touch, and when you choose the black interior option, the top of the door trim as well as the top of the dashboard will be finished in brown, which adds kind of a nice classy touch. Now, as far as your windows, they're going to be one-touch auto up and down for the driver only. And then squatting down here at the seats, this is the standard 8-way power adjusting seat with 2-way lumbar support. And like I already mentioned, we have the optional leatherette seating. I have to say this feels very realistic, and I do like this texture in the middle. It definitely feels nice to the touch. Now, once you actually get inside of this cabin, I have to say that the premium looks are definitely backed up with premium materials that definitely exceed the last generation, as well as most things in the class. So, across your upper dash, this is all going to be finished in a soft touch plastic. However, dropping down here to your middle areas, we have a leatherette material that goes all through here with the really nice looking color contrast stitching detail. Below that, we have some trim. We have a lot of piano black all through here. We do have hard touch plastic that runs through here, but if you choose the SL or the Platinum, this would be covered in leather. And then everything in here just fits together absolutely amazingly and feels extremely solid and high quality. Now, across every version of the Rogue, just put your foot on the brake and press the standard button to start it up. And right from the bat there, you will notice that brand new startup tone. Now, talking about our gauges here, this is the normal version of the gauges, which has mostly analog setup here with a 7-inch display right there in the middle. That's across all of the trims except for the Platinum, which now comes with a 12.3-inch fully reconfigurable gauge cluster, as well as a large head-up display. Now, coming back to the steering wheel itself, really like this design. This is a new design for Nissan. It is flat bottom across all of the trim levels, and it will be leather wrapped as well as heated if you choose the SL, Platinum, or this SV with the premium package. As far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and you will also notice that we have brand new switchgear for the turn signal, wipers, as well as all the buttons here on the steering wheel. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about interior storage though, because the Rogue has really improved to one of the best in the class. So we'll start out underneath the center console. You'll notice that it does open up with the butterfly design, kind of like German vehicles. And what's inside here, it is very deep. You have a lot of storage in there. We can definitely grab our coupons out, and they're gonna fit in there no problem whatsoever. As you can see, it goes all the way down. Now, up in front of that, we have our 2 cup holders. We have another large pad here with a rubber texture. This would be a wireless phone charger on the Platinum grade. And then we have a USB Type-C, Type-A, and a 12-volt outlet. However, where the big difference comes into play is this right here. The Rogue now has the floating center console, so you have all of this area here to store whatever you need to stick down there. So this certainly makes the interior a lot more versatile. Now, the trick of how Nissan was able to get so much space is because they went with a new electronic shifter. So this is the first time we've ever seen this in a Nissan product. And operation is very simple. You're just going to press this little button here on the side, and then you just pull back the entire shifter back one notch to go into drive. You can pull back once more if you want to go into the manual mode, where you can shift through some simulated gear changes with these standard paddle shifters. Now for reverse, you're just going to push up in the opposite direction. I will say this shifter is very premium feeling. And once we go into reverse, this is where you're going to be greeted with a really nice feature, and that's Nissan's Around View 360-degree camera system, standard on the SV and up. So that means all but the base model have this 360 camera system, which is frankly not offered on most of the competition, and if it is offered, they reserve it for just the top trim level. So I'm very impressed to see this on board. And then for park, you just press the P on the top. Back behind it, you have a standard electronic parking brake as well as your brake hold function. And back behind that, we have another knob. This is going to be for our drive modes. Again, very premium feeling and looking. And you can see you've got several different modes. You have off-road, snow, automatic, eco, and sport modes. Alright, so now let's go ahead and talk about the climate controls. So on your base model, you're going to have a manual climate control setup. On this SV, we've got the dual zone automatic climate control setup. And then on the SL and the Platinum, you have a 3-zone automatic climate control setup, which Nissan says is class exclusive. But as far as this one here, operation is super simple. All you have to do is adjust these big knobs. You also have physical controls located right underneath here. And then off to the side, you will also notice we have the 3-stage heated seats. That's part of the premium package here on this SV, and it is included on the higher end trim levels. All right, so now the next place we're gonna check out is the audio systems. So you have a 4-speaker sound system standard. This SV has the 6-speaker sound system, and then you have a Bose premium sound system on the Platinum trim level. We'll go ahead and sample the standard 6-speaker option. I have to say the sound quality of this 6-speaker sound system is actually quite impressive. But of course, if you want the best experience, then you can get that Bose sound system. Alright, so now that brings us up here to our displays and the Nissan Connect system. So with this new Rogue, Nissan is going to give you an 8-inch display, this 8-inch display, as standard equipment on almost every single trim level, besides for the Platinum trim level, which comes with a larger 9-inch display. As far as the system itself, this is the same Nissan Connect system from other models. So you've got your shortcut buttons along the bottom, you have some physical buttons down here, and then you have like little widgets in the home display. I will point out, as far as the features are concerned, you will have integrated navigation if you choose the model with the 9-inch display. You'll have standard Android Auto and standard Apple CarPlay across all of the models, but also with that 9-inch display, you'll have wireless Apple CarPlay. Up above that, we've got a manual dimming mirror. This would be auto dimming on the SL or the Platinum trims. And then up at the top, we have another very impressive feature, and that's the fact that this mid-level SV actually has the panoramic moonroof. This is part of the premium package, and it is also included on the SL and the Platinum trim levels. And of course, that front portion there will open right up.
Alrighty, so here we are in the all-new Rogue's rear seat, and I have to say my first impression is a very good one. This is a very nice rear seat as far as the space and the features are concerned. So I'll start out here with the space. You're going to have 39 inches of both leg and headroom, which does place it right in the middle of the pack in terms of size, so it's less than the CR-V but larger than the Toyota RAV4. And behind your seating position, I would say I have 10 inches or so of legroom, and my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. Now, as far as your features, here in the center, you're actually going to have standard rear air vents, which is a very nice touch. Dropping down, we have a USB Type-C, as well as a smart charging USB. That's going to be on the SV trims and higher. And then we can fold down the armrest to have cup holders inside. And I do also want to mention a class exclusive feature and that are these window sunshades here in the rear. That's going to be included on the SV with the premium package or the higher end models. And then if you go for the Platinum, you'll also get heated rear seats. Now walking up to your tailgate, you are going to have a Power One optionally on this SV trim. And if you go for the SL or the Platinum, you will also get the hands-free ability. So on this one, just locate the button right there and it will open right up. Now, as far as the space itself, this is going to be a almost class-leading metric for this Rogue, and I'm very pleased by that figure. So you're going to have 36.5 cubic feet of rear space behind the second row seats, and that expands to 74 cubic feet if you fold the seats. Like I said, that is larger than the Toyota RAV4, and it's almost as large as the Honda CR-V, so that's a very good accomplishment for this Rogue. Now, as far as how they finished it back here, we have a carpeting along the floor, and the floor itself does also feature Nissan's divide and hide cargo system, so you have a lot of different ways that you can configure this floor to really maximize the space back here. Off to the side, we have cubbies, and the seats do fold 60-40 split. Now, your passenger seat over here on this model is going to be manually adjusting. And then as far as the glove box is concerned, this is I would give this about a medium-sized glove box. This is not massive. However, it's actually definitely large enough to fit a ton of coupons in here. It looks kind of deceptively small, but when you throw the coupons in there, you see it's actually very deep. So lots of money saved on the food in years to come. And then up top, we do have a small mirror, a light, and you can also detach it and extend it.
So we got cut a little bit short, but that was basically a 0 to 60 up a pretty steep grade, and power feels pretty good. So with this new generation, Nissan's not doing any turbocharging or anything complicated. They're sticking with kind of a traditional 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated. It does have a power bump of 11 horsepower over last year, however, to 181 horsepower and also 181 pound-feet of torque. That puts it just about right in line with most of the competition as far as power numbers are concerned.
Yeah, and certainly a huge improvement acceleration-wise over the last generation. We'll talk about this in just a second, but it feels a lot faster thanks to the way they've tuned the CVT transmission, and it's just a really, really big improvement. You're definitely going to notice if you're coming from a previous generation Rogue.
So since Mason already mentioned it, we might as well go ahead and talk about it. We do have a continuously variable transmission on board this year, just like last year. However, it is the next generation version. It's definitely tuned a lot different. As he said, it feels a lot more responsive, which does contribute to the fact that this feels a lot quicker. And as far as you could probably also tell, is it's got the D-step logic, which is Nissan's version of a simulated shift. Like we've said with the Altima and other Nissan products, actually has a realistic feel to a regular transmission. You'll notice that it actually has kind of like a kick simulation.
But now that we're up to speed here, I do want to talk about what this Rogue does best, which would just be family cruising down a highway like this. Now, of course, Nissan has done a really good job here. What I'm noticing as far as the ride quality is that the ride quality is very good, and I will get a sound level sample. While we're going around 57 miles an hour. And we're looking at under 55 decibels, 54.7, which that honestly shocks me. I didn't know that it would register that low. It sounds quiet in person, but I guess this is even quieter than I thought it was, because that's certainly a lot quieter than the competition.
Yeah, tire noise, I don't hear much of it at all. Wind noise, really almost non-existent. And then the engine, it to me sounds less strained than in RAV4 or CRV. And then circling back to the ride quality, like Mason was mentioning to me earlier, everything about this new generation feels a lot more solid, and that does go even to your chassis and everything regarding the ride quality. Really just feels solid when it takes a bump. And then we were thinking we actually would make this a slam dunk. Just how solid everything feels when you open the door, when you shut the door, when you touch things inside of the cabin. Everything has like this really solid and high quality feel.
And going along with that, we were very impressed by that, but there is also another area where this Rogue can maybe improve on, and that's going to be, we think it should have a hybrid offering for the powertrain, or at least an upgraded engine. This is going to be your only option for the Rogue, whereas many of the rivals will give you a different engine, maybe a more powerful one, or at least a hybrid for maximum efficiency. That's still not offered on this Rogue.
Probably Nissan will add them.
Probably.
But they haven't yet, as of yet, but we'll be looking forward to maybe some extra engine options.
Now, since we were talking about maybe them adding a hybrid, let's go ahead and talk about the fuel economy if you to go for just the regular one, what's available now. So the front wheel drive is going to be 26, 34, 29 combined, and if you go for all-wheel drive, it's only going to be reduced 1 to 28 combined. Which is the same as main rivals, and those are pretty much like really good figures for a crossover like this. You're getting almost 30 mpg combined out of an all-wheel drive crossover. That's very impressive.
But I can't finish up this review without talking about what might be the biggest improvement with this new Rogue, and that's going to be the dynamics. The outgoing generation, to put it nicely, it just was very appliancey, I guess you could say. Driving dynamics was not a focus at all with the outgoing model. The steering was video game light. Kind of felt, I compared it like to our video game controller with our PlayStation. This new one definitely helps things out a lot. You can tell the new chassis is much tighter. As you go around corners, you exhibit far less body roll, has nice control. As far as the steering, it is still light, but light in a way that's in line with the competition. Also very fast responding, so you'll see that you turn very small off center and you get an immediate response. So all in all, huge improvement, and definitely brings it in line with the competition.
And lastly, let's go ahead and talk about the pricing for this all-new Rogue. Now, prices are only going to increase about $500 for 2021, which I find very impressive. So the S is going to start at $25,650, SV $27,340, SL $32,000, and Platinum $35,430. If you want all-wheel drive, you can add that for $1,400 on all those trim levels. Now, we do have the SV all-wheel drive. We also have the big ticket item of the premium package on that, plus some accessories. And the destination charge of $1,095 brings this one to $33,625.
So there's not much left to say except for big thumbs up with this new Rogue. Like we mentioned, before, basically, this is a big leap forward in every regard from the outgoing generation. And Nissan has really built a seriously compelling product. So if you're shopping in this class, you've definitely got to come by and check out this new Rogue, because this might just be the compact crossover for you.
Well, guys, we appreciate you watching one of the first in-depth looks at this 2021 Nissan Rogue SV. We really appreciate you watching, and if you've made it this far in the video, don't lie to me. I know that means you enjoyed at least a little bit, or at least found it helpful. So be sure to help us out by hitting that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.